Hi everyone and welcome to Sports Watch. If you like the content, please press the bell icon and like and subscribe to the channel. A lot has happened in the last 48 hours in the UFC. If you haven't followed the news, then you are in for a big surprise. UFC 294 has had significant changes. Both the main event and the co-main event have been changed at the last moment due to the injuries sustained by the fighters. In the main event, Charles Oliveira got injured in his final round of sparring before departing for Abu Dhabi. He suffered a nasty cut on his eyebrow, which required stitching, and with 10 days left, he won't be able to recover in time. It was bad timing and unfortunate for Charles as he misses out on his rematch with Islam Makachev. One man's misfortune is another man's opportunity. And UFC President Dana White announced that the new main event for UFC 294 is the rematch between Islam Makachev and Alexander Volkanovski for the lightweight title. It's a blockbuster main event, and if the first fight is anything to go by, then the second one is going to be an absolute banger as well. Before we get to the fight, one must state the obvious that it's a short notice fight. Volkanovski was supposed to fight Ilia Topuria in January, and now he has 10 days to prepare for Islam Makachev, who is 155 pounds and who has beat Volkanovski the last time they fought. It was one of the best fights in a long time. Volkanovski is a stud for accepting this fight on such a short notice, and so is Islam. But were the UFC right in booking a fight of this magnitude in such a short span of time? Last time Volkanovski fought Islam, he put on the extra weight, prepared meticulously, brought in Craig Jones, and basically trained like an animal. The result was an exceptional fight which he lost marginally. Now he doesn't have the time to do any of that. Volk is a great athlete and is always in fight shape and stays ready. But was he in fight camp like Islam was? He wasn't a backup fighter either. So what happens if he loses? The talk would once again be of him taking this fight on short notice. Islam Makachev has been in training camp for Charles Oliveira, and Volkanovski is much tougher an opponent than Charles. He's shorter and stockier than Islam found out on the first fight. If Islam were to lose to Volk in 10 days' notice, his stock will plummet. So the situation isn't ideal for either fighter. So once again, were the UFC right in scheduling a fight of this magnitude without any build-up and promotion on such a short notice? On the fight itself, Volkanovski showed pretty well that he can handle Islam Makhachev's wrestling. He also knocked Islam down in the fifth round and finished the fight on top. Islam never expected that fight from him. Given the second fight is in such short notice, Volk would be much more aggressive because he knows without a full training camp behind him, it would be difficult for him to go 5 grueling rounds with Islam. Islam Makhachev, on the other hand, would look to take his time and be more methodical with his takedowns. He hurt Volt in the first fight, and in the second, he would look to wrestle him even more. It won't be surprising if he finishes Volk on the ground this time. And if Volkanovski wins, it would be by knockout. He looked tremendous against Yair Rodriguez. But the difference is, Yair doesn't wrestle and Islam does. Volkanovski is usually very good in rematches, but the only issue with this one is time. If the main event was mind-blowing, then the co-main event is even more thrilling. It was supposed to be Paulo Costa versus Khamzat Chimaev. Both had been engaged in trash talk for a number of months, and the fans were eager to see what happens when they finally cross the ring with each other. But as fate would have it, weeks before the fight, Paulo Costa undergoes a surgery on his elbow. Fingers were crossed for his recovery, but another surgery meant that he was out. His replacement was announced as former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman. Another blockbuster fight in such a short notice. Usman and Chimaev were in talks about fighting at 170 many times, but Chimaev's failure to make weight at 170 meant that the fight fell through. Now Usman is coming up to middleweight to face Khamzat Chimaev. This is already a tougher matchup for Khamzat than Costa. If anyone thinks that Usman is going to be small at middleweight, then think again. Styles makes fights, and Usman may be all wrong for Khamzat. The advantage that Chimaev has over everybody is his wrestling. But Gilbert Burns showed if you can negate it and keep it on the feet, it's a very different ball game. Furthermore, Kamaru Usman is the best wrestler that Chimaev will ever face. He has only been taken down once in his UFC career, and that too by the champion Leon Edwards. It won't be surprising at all if Usman takes Chimaev down. How is Chimaev off his back? How good is his ground game? We don't know yet, but we are sure to find out. Another problem for Khamzat is his stamina. In the Burns fight, it showed if you can withstand the initial barrage, it does slow down in the later rounds. In a 5-round fight, you can't do that. Not if your opponent's name is Kamaru Usman. Now, whether the main event is a 3-rounder or 5-rounder is yet to be decided. But Usman has cardio for days, and his output is fairly consistent over 5 rounds. His ring IQ and experience as a champion is a huge advantage. If Chimaev can't knock him out, then he can be in for a very rude awakening. And Kamaru Usman is coming off back-to-back losses to Leon Edwards. One of those losses was a bad knockout. But he didn't look back in the rematch. So he would be hungry to say the least. The Nigerian Nightmare versus the Wolf, Khamzat Chimaev in Abu Dhabi, has fight of the night written all over it. If Khamzat wins, his fame would go off the roof. But if Usman wins, the Chimaev train would get derailed. UFC President Dana White has also announced that the winner would get a shot at Sean Strickland, the middleweight champion. This is a huge development because Usman has already beaten Strickland at welterweight. Once again, a fight this big should have been done with proper camps, with proper preparation. These fights have the potential of generating massive pay-per-view buys. In a bid to salvage the Abu Dhabi card, the UFC are putting their top fighters in tight spots. Let me know in the comment section what you feel. And if you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to the channel.